Jonathan Wilkinson is Canada's Energy and Resource Minister and joins me now. Sir, there is clearly negotiation taking place. I've been saying the ball is in Canada's court to come up with some way to placate President Trump, just as Mexico is doing. What can you tell me about the negotiations today?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. I mean, first of all, President Trump has been very clear that he has concerns around the border in terms of illegal crossings and the crossing of fentanyl. I would say the numbers coming across the Canadian border are very, very small. But we have said, yes, we agree. One crossing and 1 pound of fentanyl is too much. We announced a package of over $1 billion to buy helicopters and drones and to actually put more people at the border. But we've also said to President Trump and his folks that we're willing to do more. And so that's a conversation that we need to have. This is something that both of us agree. We need to actually ensure the border is fully secure. I would also say that I'm heading to Washington this week to have conversations about how can we actually help each other become more secure, particularly vis-a-vis China. Canada has vast resources of critical minerals, but we need some help in developing those. It would be a way in which we can actually help to ensure security against, the country that really is the challenge for both of us, which is China.
You'll be coming to D.C., I believe, later this week. I think it's maybe tomorrow, actually, and you're discussing trade. Will you be discussing the idea that's been put forward by some of a great North American energy alliance? Canada is energy rich, America is energy rich. If you could get together somehow or other, we're an absolute powerhouse. Would you be discussing something like that?
Absolutely. That's something that I've been talking to American legislators about over the past while. I was in Washington just a couple of weeks ago. I know it's something that people in the Trump administration are also interested in. I think if you actually look at some of the things that we can do together, Canada can help President Trump keep energy prices low in the United States, help with security vis-a-vis China, but also help with the energy dominance agenda, which is about essentially using energy internationally as a tool of influence. And there are a number of things that Canada can do to help to ensure that President Trump can meet his objectives, but do so in a manner that is constructive and is good for Canada too.
President Trump spoke on the phone with Prime Minister Trudeau this morning. There'll be another conversation at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Could we assume that there'll be some more give and take by this afternoon between Canada and the United States? Can we make that assumption?
Well, I certainly think that there will be active conversations going on. I know they spoke both about the border and about trade. I expect that they will continue that conversation when they speak later this afternoon. And I'm certainly hopeful that we're going to find a pathway here that's actually going to be a win-win pathway for the United States of America and for Canada.
Can we restore good relations between the two countries? I understand that some Canadians booed America's national anthem at sporting events this weekend. Do you think we can get back to a better relationship quickly?
Oh, I think we can. We have historically been partners and allies, in not just economically, but in world wars. Many of us have family in the United States. Certainly almost everyone has friends in the United States. I think what you saw in a couple of places last night was Canadians are angry about the impact that these across the board tariffs may have on their families. And they're anxious about that. That's just normal. But I do think that if we can find a constructive pathway out of this, things will go back to normal, which is we are the best of friends and we are the best of economic partners.
If we were to find a way out of this impasse, Canada-America, the winner would be Canada and America and the loser would be China. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. I mean, we have some real challenges with China. They control critical minerals and critical minerals processing in many different areas, and that includes minerals that are used for defense applications and semiconductors. It is critical that we find a way to reduce the vulnerability, and that is something that Canada and the United States can do together.
Jonathan Wilkinson, thank you very much for coming on the show today at a very important time. We really appreciate it, and we love to hear from you tomorrow when you're in D.C. Check back in with us if you
Sounds good. I'd be happy to.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Okay.